The next section in the program we're going to talk about is the member information. You have to have a family before you have members, so if you have questions on the families, go back and watch the previous video on the family section. For members, we do have room to have name information. I'm going to come over to an active member here. With the name, if you click the three little dots at the end of the line, just like on the family screen, you'll bring up your name breakdown box where you have room to fill in last name, first name, middle name, nickname, maiden name, title, and suffix, and also the mailing name formats for that or that member as well. Underneath of that, you have room for a member ID number if you'd like to use them, although most church programs do not. You have room for relationship, for grade and degree, that's the grade they're currently in or the highest level of schooling they've completed. Marital status, language, ethnicity, religion, disability, occupation, school. The type, this is not a user-definable field. You have to pick from the list that's already there. Gender, again, not a user-definable field. It's either male or female. Your date of birth, the age will be automatically calculated based off of today's date, and you have room for a deceased date. When someone is marked as deceased, you'll notice that this says deceased up here at the top now, and their age will stop calculating based off of the date that that was filled in. With these fields down here, religion, disability, occupation, school, and the blank spaces underneath of those are for user-definable fields. You can choose what you want to call them and what you want to track in them. If you go to Setup Admin and Keywords, and you come down to the bottom to User Keywords, you can turn on or off any of these user-definable fields, and you can also create new fields that you would want to. Say I want to keep track of attendance, and is it regular? And that field is now going to be on my member screen. For all of my members, I'll have that drop-down box there. We also have room for remarks. We have both general, confidential, and special circumstances. Filling something into special circumstances will put a little red flag up here at the top of the screen to let me know that something's been filled in. I can also link to a digital picture of the family or the member. I can click the little yellow file folder and choose the picture that I want displayed, and it'll display that picture for me. I have room for a location, which is typically used for the location of the occupation, and I also have room for member keywords as well. Just like my families, I can make a member inactive, and just like my families, I have an add and a delete button up here at the top. Just like with the family, when we delete, we have the ability to keep the information without showing it, which is archiving that person. We would always recommend archiving whenever you're going to delete something out of the program. For phone, email, and other address information, so we can have as many phone numbers as we would want, email addresses as we would want, although it is only going to email to the first address listed here. And then it's going to recap the family's address and contact information for us. Sacramental information, we have room for the general stuff, birthplace, father, and mother. And we'll have a tab for each of the different sacraments. And you have room to fill in different parts of those. And then the date list at the end is going to summarize all the sacraments that have been filled in. You can add additional information on the date list, so if you had an ordination date or a convalidation date. Additional statuses of annulled or widowed, which allow you to fill in more than one marriage if you've chosen that on a previous marriage. With any of these sacraments, you have a print certificate button at the bottom that allows you to print out a sacramental certificate. And it looks pretty nice. You can print it onto cardstock paper and use that as your certificates. You'll see them for each of the different sacraments across here for baptism, first communion, confirmation, marriage. All of them have certificates that go along with them. If you need to print out a certificate for a member who's no longer in the program, that's where that loose family that we talked about in the family section can come into play. If I come up to my loose, I can come up to this loose member, fill in the general information, come to baptism, fill in the baptismal information for whoever I'm trying to print, the status, and go ahead and print the certificate out from here, and then I can just hit the delete baptism button once I've printed out my certificate, and then use this for the next person I would need to print that for if that person is not in the program any longer. Room for talent and ministry information. Ministries are meant to be organizations that you're a part of. Talents are meant to be hobbies or skills you have that you're volunteering to the church. We have room for attendance information. We have room for family recap, which is again going to summarize the families or members in the program, which will let us keep track of background check information or other requirements. And then letters, visits, calls, etc., which let us keep track of correspondence history with this member. With our families, we have a navigation box up at the top. I have my same search options that I saw over on the family screen. And I have the ability to order these families or members by different things. As opposed to just the family screen, I can order them by family name or ID number, or member name or ID number, and also members in the family, which means it's just going to go through the family that I'm on. A label button, which allows me to do a label, an envelope, or a letter for the particular member that I'm on. I also have a reassign member button, which is going to allow me to take this member that I'm on and transfer them either to a brand new family or add them to an existing family. So if I'm merging two families together, I can move the members over this way, or if I'm separating a family, I can do that with this section as well. Listing screen option, which allows me to see one big giant long list of every member in the program. And just like with a family one, I can customize the view to choose which pieces of information and what font size I want to see that at. Finally, we have the ability to get to the reports, quick posting and processes section. And from the member screen, I also have access to easy lists. Easy lists are predefined lists that are in the program. They allow me to very quickly choose one of these predefined lists. And from there, just like with my listing screen, I can do a customized view to choose which fields of information I want. I can print the list out, and I can also do an easy letter, which would let me do a label, an envelope, or a letter for the people who are displayed on my easy list. So it's a quick, easy way of being able to get out lists, letters, or labels based off of these predefined criteria: attendance, birthdays, different last names, list of children or parents, ministries, sacramental information, talent information, or user keywords, which are those user definable fields. Next one, we're going to talk about contributions, but we're going to end this one here.